Hello. Hello. I am mildly grumpy. No, I'm going to say considerably grumpy about having to do this song again. I I need to do something. Okay, that's not going to work. Okay. Uh I think I did a pretty, for this series, a pretty good job with the song last time. And the fact that I'm not able to do that, uh, the fact that that just doesn't seem to be working for whatever reason. My best guess is somehow I accidentally hit the mute button. As I said in the video description, if it doesn't work this time, we're just going to move on because I got 83 more songs to do, so I can't just sit back. It's also not a good one to have to redo because it's not like I can just boom hang out the song, because there was a lengthy explanation for why I was choosing this song, and that the video that I lost the audio on is over half an hour long, because I really had a lot to say about this song and about the culture that this song exists in. And I guess I'll just say that all again. Luckily, I have at least some of it printed because I really wanted to make sure I say what I mean. Okay, so to that end, and one more thing. I've decided if there's an issue, a technical issue with the video, I'm not going to do this take two again. This is the last take two you will see, because the whole point of this is that it's live in front of an audience. Right now it's live in front of 0 people, and it was live in front of 0 people the other day. And if it had been live in front of someone, they could have said, hey, I can't hear a thing. And I could have went, oh, okay, let's figure it out. But that didn't happen. So from now on, you need to show up and let me know if it's not working. And I know you have obligations. I'm not upset with anyone for not being able to come to the live stream, but I'm also in the spirit of this being something that's supposed to be a live interaction. I think technical mishaps should be done so that people can let me know in real time and I can respond in real time. And that's why I'm not going to do this again. Now, here's my lengthy explanation of why I'm choosing this song. There was a story that I was told by a professor in college. I'm not sure how true this story is. I haven't verified it. It could be completely true. It could be 0% true. I don't honestly even remember what professor told it to me, although I think it was, I think I know, but I can't even remember her name, to be honest. So she was saying that the Globe Theater, where Shakespeare's plays were performed, where he was kind of the in-house playwright, that theater has been reconstructed as historically accurately as possible. And they tried to recreate the experience of seeing one of Shakespeare's plays as historically accurately to when it would have been first performed as possible. And of course, as many of you probably already know, in Shakespeare's time, it was against the law for women to be on stage. So at the time, most female roles were played by prepubescent boys who their voice hadn't dropped. They tried to do this for the Globe Theater when they reopened it to recreate the historical experience. But because in modern day, that kind of an interaction reads as homosexual, it just didn't have the same, it didn't have, the audiences didn't, we're not able to see that as a historical accuracy for the period, and it didn't work for the people putting on the play, so they just decided, okay, we're going to just go with women and be a little bit inaccurate in that area. Fast forward to, there is a common expression, you couldn't make blazing saddles today. It's kind of weird that it's a common expression, but it exists. And there's a very interesting video that I've linked to in the description about why that statement is technically true, however, not for the reasons that most people think. And I invite you to watch that and enjoy it at your leisure. Now, here's a song that I first learned about in high school. This is a Mr. T Experience song off their album Our Bodies Ourselves. And it was first introduced to me via a cassette tape that I got when Lookout Records was selling bundles of stickers and t-shirts and CDs and tapes and what have you, to get rid of their overstock. And I bought a bundle, and everything I bought was pretty killer. Like I really lucked out there. And this album, Our Bodies Ourselves, is no exception. I listened to it again yesterday morning in preparation for this video, and that is an album that I consider flawless. There is not a moment of a single song that I think is not absolutely perfect. It is so good. Everything about it is just fantastic. So this song is perhaps, due to the kind of novelty and eyebrow raisability of the subject of this song, is kind of the standout song on that album. Although honestly, I wouldn't say it's necessarily the best song on that album. There's just so many, that's like choosing favorites among your children. But I do feel like it's a song that today reads a lot differently when played. When I was in high school, it was just kind of like a, hey, I'm single, this sucks, yeah. Now I feel like lonely men have been, that's a concept that has moved beyond just being a man who happens to be lonely, and it now takes on a meaning that a lot of people find threatening. And I wanted to talk about that. So I feel like I could almost articulate it better than I did in the essay, but I also feel like this is a subject that I could write a book about and still have both difficulty articulating it perfectly and still have just more to say in general. But so anyway, I'm going to just read it. And if you take it the wrong way, I tried my best, you know. Maybe you have an actual objection to what I have to say. Maybe you misconstrued what I said. It is the internet. That happens every day, 100 million times. Um, basically, what I'm trying to say is we need to address the fact that even within the feminist community, there is a trend in making fun of lonely guys who don't feel able to get a girlfriend or find romantic satisfaction. And that's a problem that I think we need to address. And I think we need to recognize that for people like that, what they need feminism as much as anybody. So here we go. I chose a song because it represents an idea that has been unfairly lumped in with misogyny. This idea that lonely people exist and some of them are men. There are lonely people in our world of all genders, and this is largely due to social factors that are outside the control of those people. We need to be having conversations about how, when men are alone, that doesn't make them less valued by society overall, because it's easy for men to get that message just as much as it's easy for women to get that message. There's the concept of a woman without a man is like a fish without a bicycle. I am 100% fine with that, but I don't feel like men have heard that they can lead a fulfilling, satisfactory life without being able to be attractive to women. Okay, we're inundated with parallel ideas that success for men, even in a non-traditional way, is impossible without it including leagues of attracted females. And our main story archetype that we constantly see on TV is that the protagonist who gets a girl. From an early age, men are taught that their value is directly tied to the female attention they get. So when men are unable to get that female attention, the natural path is for them to see some deep-seated flaw in themselves, or I should have said the natural paths are for them to either see some deep-seated flaw in themselves or to blame women for not being attracted to them. That happens a lot because there's a sense that we're somehow owed female attraction for being a nice guy. And of course, I don't buy that for a second. And that doesn't make you not a nice guy. If women aren't attracted to you, that's fine. It just, is how the cookie crumbles sometimes. And that's a tough lesson that a lot of men, especially young men, need to learn. Okay, sorry. I keep going off script and okay. So, or when men aren't able to get the female attention, the natural paths are them to see some deep-seated flaw in themselves or to blame women for not being attracted to them, or some combination of the two. Neither of these are healthy paths to take. And I think feminism in practice, though not always in theory, has, in my estimation, done a poor job of having these conversations about how men should interpret and understand their own feelings of romantic inadequacy. So it's no surprise that men find comfort and community in an ideology that further perpetuates harmful ideas about male ability to attract women and what it says about male value. That's not condoning that. It's not excusing it. It's just saying that makes sense within our societal framework. It's very easy for a man who swipes left all day on a dating app but never gets a match to look for answers about why this is and come to the conclusion that their own worth is just too low and that society as a whole has rejected them. Or it's equally possible that they come to the conclusion that women owe them love and women are unethical for not giving them what they are owed. Or perhaps most common, some combination of the two. Know that the app, which has a financial incentive to keep this man single, is somehow rendered blameless in all this. We as a society have the capacity to keep men from going down this dark path, and at the very least, present a healthy feminist alternative to the harmful ideology. But it's going to have to include an acknowledgement of healthy discussion of male loneliness. And that's going to include men griping about how they feel unloved or unlovable. That's an emotion that you can't pretend you're not feeling if you want to move forward. I recently started rewatching the Mr. Rogers movie, and I was kind of struck by how a big part of that is just recognizing that we need to express emotions, even if they're not emotions that we can, if you're angry with someone, you need to say, I'm angry. That doesn't mean you need to beat them up. I'm sorry. I'm very good at digressing, in case you haven't noticed. Right now, a lot of this discussion is given a blanket cancellation by at least some parts of the feminist community. And that only further drives the wedge between men grappling with their feelings of inadequacy and feminists hoping to make the world safe from the harm caused by toxic masculinity. This further cements in the minds of these men that the feminist movement is one that oppresses men. That's a problem. Again, these men need feminism as much as anyone if they're going to overcome the fact that this demon that's hurting them is one that's just as much caused by a traditional sexism as the demons that haunt many women. I haven't used a lot of concrete examples in this. It's more rant than research paper. And this is an impression I get having worked within radical communities for most of my adult life and having a troubled love life for most of my adult life. It's not something where I can point to any one particular person or action and say, see, there's the problem. I realize that's not good sociology, maybe, but again, I'm expressing my emotions in a way that I at least hope is healthy. Okay. I'm not of the opinion that any good would occur from calling out anyone at this time. I want to start conversations about how we can make sure people of all genders feel supported, valued, and respected in a world where we've been taught that support, value, and respect can only be validated through romantic relationships that aren't available to everyone. We know that the game of love is not a meritocracy. And we also know that you shouldn't feel obligated to fall in love with anyone to make it some kind of meritocracy. But at the same time, if you're a man who has trouble with romantic interactions and maybe you have some social ineptitude, then I think there is a way to express that frustration healthily. And we could argue about whether or not the song that I'm going to play right now is a healthy expression of that. That's another conversation to have. I hope what I've said for the second time now has, to some degree, helped, or maybe started something, or maybe just, getting it off my chest is fine. I don't anticipate a lot of people watching this. Anyway, here's the song. I still haven't found a girlfriend. No, I've tried a lot. So can you help me, please? It's tougher than I thought. What? Fuck. Okay. I still haven't found a girlfriend. No, I've tried a lot. So can you help me, please? It's tougher than I thought. The odds are pretty good, but the goods are pretty odd. Still at this point, I'd take anything you got. You see this all the time, nice girls in love with jerks. What could they be thinking? Tell me how this works. Fucking, That's the other fucking thing, is I fucking nailed this song yesterday. Now I'm going from considerably grumpy to mildly livid. I still haven't found a girlfriend, though I've tried a lot. So can you help me, please? It's tougher than I thought. The odds are pretty good, but the goods are pretty odd. Still at this point, I'd take anything you got. You see this all the time, nice girls in love with jerks. What could they be thinking? Tell me how this works. If I've got some problems, well, I wouldn't be the first. But the ones I have in mind are even worse. And even Hitler had a girlfriend who he could always call, who'd always be there for him in spite of all his faults. He was the worst guy ever, reviled and despised, but even Hitler had a girlfriend. So why can't I? Why can't I? Life is full of contradictions, hard to understand. And for every happy woman, there's a lonely man. Nixon had his puppy, Charles Manson had his clan. But God forbid I'll get a girlfriend. And even Hitler had a girlfriend who he could always call. And even Hitler had... I'm about ready to start crying. And even Hitler had a girlfriend who he could call his own, to sweeten days of bitterness and feeling all alone. Not as bad as Hitler, but it doesn't mean a thing, since they'd rather be with Hitler more than me. I don't see why to be Hitler more than me. That was awful. Awful.